Gosh, it's been a minute, hasn't it? Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to a new episode of Anime Talk, in which I talk about an anime that I've been currently watching, whether it be new, whether it be old, good, bad, mediocre, that sort of thing. But let me tell you something. I know that we're all kind of, staying inside, staying healthy, being safe, which I hope you lovelies are doing that, staying healthy, being safe, washing your hands, and all that stuff. When it comes to, sitting around and, being interested and getting back into some older things, newer things, sometimes you just rewatch some good classics like the Berserk anime, and also getting back into Hetalia, which, by the way, it's 2020, guys. It's okay to still like Hetalia. It's still really funny. Or even get into some new interesting stuff and, reading it, watching it. In my case, it's two things. One of them is reading all of, as much as I can, Doro Hetero, which I am loving a lot. And also, today's topic in Anime Talk is... I forgot how to say the anime name again. According to Google, it's called Gleipnir, which I'm at this point expecting it to be some sort of like super thing, like it's like a super villain or like say like Banana Fish or something. But anyways, let's get into what Gleipnir is all about. Gleipnir is an anime about a boy named Kaguya Suichi who just wants to live a normal life. He doesn't want to get into any sorts of trouble whatsoever. He just wants to blend in with everyone else in his life. But then one particular night, he kind of smells fire in the distance from his house and he wants to check it out. And then you suddenly see him turn into this monstrous form, and he goes and saves a girl who was in this burning, abandoned, like, warehouse or whatnot. And, he saves her, and he doesn't think anything of it. But the next day, the girl comes by, and she's like, hey, you might want to explain to me your monstrous form, because I know that, like, you can turn into this beast. And if you don't do what I say, I'm going to spread it to everybody. So they kind of, like, work together as she's trying to find her sister. And also, Kaguya is also trying to figure out why he's actually turning into this beast. And it all has to do with this singular token or coin that has connections to both the sister and why Kaguya has turned into the monster in the first place. Something I want to point out immediately is how the anime does its fight scenes. I think the way that the anime does its fight scenes feel like they actually do have a heavy amount of impact, because I know for a lot of fight situations in anime, you can just tell that some of the impacts of a lot of punches, it doesn't seem to connect that well to actually give that sort of impact. But when you see the fight scenes in this anime, it looks like it legit just like hurts. Like you can feel the impact. It's specifically in episode 2 where you can just see the raw action scene. You can just see how heavy these punches feel. Other than that, and then the music is dubsteppy as heck, which I find really hilarious, to be honest. Like, I feel like, wow, I'm in like 2012 all over again. Like, it's really heavy, really over the top dubstep. I'm like, you know what, I can vibe to this, I can vibe to this type of music, It's like, it's not that deep of music. You're enjoying it. We're watching some cool fight scenes. Opening is pretty nice. Ending is okay. Like, nothing really fantastic when it comes to the openings, at least to me, in my opinion. Visually is interesting, but, I mean, it's one of those openings I'm like, okay, I can skip the opening, because, you have those openings in which you don't want to skip, but this one, I'm like, okay, I just want to get to the initial plot of the story. And, also another thing is, Kaguya actually starts out initially already having the powers, which I wasn't expecting. I thought it was going to build up to him driving up to the courage of him turning into the monster, because Kaguya as a character, he is very to himself, and I was expecting him to kind of grow to turn into the monster, but it's already established very early that he already has these monstrous powers and he can transform. And later on, you do figure out how, but, spoilers, won't get into that. actually, another thing I want to praise that actually follows up that is that every episode seems like it actually does have a pretty interesting twist. Like, you want to continue further in the plot to see where it goes, to see whether or not the story still continues to have all these twists and turns and stuff. Because keep in mind, I watched up to episode 3, and there's been twists and turns throughout all the 3 episodes I watched so far. So I'm interested to see how it goes and how everything's connected to one another. Because, you know, there's like this specific, the little coin that's shown in the first episode and how it's kind of connected to these monstrous creatures and how people may get these powers or not. I'm interested, like, I don't know. It's all shrouded in mystery, but you do get the context of maybe where it came from, but there's not, like, you have some of the pieces, but some of them aren't there yet, if that makes sense. I don't know. Another noteworthy thing to talk about is Clair, which is the secondary protagonist of the story that kind of works together with Kaguya to help him discover how he got these how he got his monstrous form, and also where her sister is. Something I do appreciate about her, let me just say, I was suspecting her to be the stereotypical crazy yandere character. Little known fact about me, this is just a personal opinion of mine. I'm not really a big fan of the yandere trope, at least nowadays, because I feel like yanderes aren't really characters, more that they're caricatures, more than their own person. I think really the only type of characters that do well for the whole yandere thing is probably in the old Hidegarashi When They Cry series, which they actually did have character, but they also did have the yandere sort of attitude towards them. So I do appreciate Claire actually having some personality besides, because she's really crazy, like she's a nutcase, but there's more to her than just being crazy. Her trait as a character isn't just crazy, she is, but she also has like this whole past thing going for her. And if you watch, you know, up till, you know, the episodes that I watched up to, she does have emotions, and she does feel like distress, and she does feel anxious and stuff. Because I feel like with most yanderes, it's for this one specific person, and it's a trope. It's like, oh, yanderes, you know, because she doesn't really technically love him. Also, the fact that it's still pretty early in the series, so... Also, I haven't read the manga either. I just usually pass the manga by going to the bookstore. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting, okay. But, I don't know if there's gonna be any romantic feeling towards the two protagonists, which half of me says, yeah, they might. And also part of me is like, I don't know. I really don't think they would be romantic, even though throughout the anime so far there has been sexual tensions between the two characters, in which I want to bring up because I actually seen a lot of people complain about this. They're like, it's an interesting story, but I feel like the fan service does get in the way of it. Yeah, I mean, I can see where people are coming from. Personally, for me, it doesn't bother me that much for the fan service because, like, I don't know, I guess I'm just, like, so used to this in, like, anime, like, by now. Like, I'm just like, okay, I mean, like, I feel like they kind of dealt with, like, the whole, like, sexual tension better than they ever did in, like, I don't know, like, Darling in the Franxx or something. Like, I can take whatever's going on in this anime rather I can with, like, Darling in the Franxx. Like, any day. You know, I don't even want to talk about Darling in the Franxx right now. That's another video for another day. I don't know. It's not really too distracting for me, personally. Like, it's not really in your face like other shows that I watched in the past. So, honestly, the fan service doesn't bother me whatsoever. I can see why it bothers people, and how they kind of feel like this kind of ruins the tension in the drama that the show is building up to, and I'm like, yeah, cool. I understand it. I'm just so desensitized to all this crap by now. Like, I've seen my days of fan service and stuff. Like, this stuff doesn't faze me anymore, trust me. I've gotten so used to it. Like, I feel like that's the least of the problems as fan service. Like, it's, in some animes, it's just bound to happen, you know? But all in all, while I keep watching this anime, Honestly, yes, because I am just curious to how they're going to explain a lot more when it comes to the monster creatures. Also how they're going to explain and dive deeply into more of the other characters in the series, because the characters are just fine. Like, the main character, Kaguya, is fine enough as it is. Like, he has Clair to actually give him strength to fight other monster characters. And, you know, like I said, I appreciate Clair actually not being a stereotypical, like, yandere, and just being, you know, just a crazy character with depth to her. Like, she has depth, but she still is qualified as a really crazy person in the show. I'm not really expecting, like, a masterpiece from it. Like, I think that the dialogue could be some, like, weird sometimes, but, you know, some animes perch the core of it, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just used to it by now. But, I mean, just to watch it for the action scenes is just really satisfying enough as it is, too. So, I'll definitely will keep watching for the animation as well, too. So, I think Funimation has the rights to this one. I don't know if there's any specific streaming services for this yet, but I know that you can get the first, 5 or 6 volumes of the manga that's, like, out now. So if you're interested or have been wanting to read it, then you can definitely go check out the manga, because I know the manga is out and you can, you know, order it. Your Amazons, your Books A Millions, your Barnes & Noble and stuff. And yeah, I hope this made sense. Usually my anime talks are unscripted, they're just kind of like on the mind sort of thing, so yeah. This was a really interesting one. Comment what you lovelies think about this anime so far. Are you gonna keep watching it? Are you just gonna watch it for the good that's in it, like the animation or the other twists and turns? Like M. Night Shyamalan, honestly. This whole anime is just like M. Night Shyamalan, like a twist fest, you know? Every new episode there's like a new twist, you know? I'm just like, oh, what will come next out of this anime that I forgot to pronounce again? Because honestly, this anime has the most weirdest name I've tried to pronounce for such a long time. Like, legit, I have Google Translate to help me actually say the name of the anime, and I already forgot how to pronounce it, because god dang, is it such a weird anime to pronounce. But yeah, interesting enough, before I end the video, you know about my anime list, you know, that website that everyone can rate their own animes and stuff. Apparently this show has like mixed reviews, which is interesting because it's already up to like 5 episodes in, so honestly that's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen like a new seasonal anime for like that has such a mixed review already, because usually the mixed reviews usually come like after the fact, but it's interesting that it's still early in the series and yet it already has that like middle ground, sort of like goodish, baddish sort of like review to it. I like it just fine, like I said. I'm just gonna keep watching to see where it goes. And yeah, because some shows you just kind of want to watch till the end, even if you're not like fully attached to it. I do like some of the ideas in it. I'm just watching for the ride, you know? But yeah, that is basically it for today's episode of Anime Talk. Not sure what anime I'm gonna be talking about next time, but I will see, you know? Whatever I'm watching, I will definitely be talking about if I think it is definitely worthy enough to talk about on Anime Talk, which, it's not hard. I do watch a lot of, weird stuff, and I guess ongoing stuff, and past stuff, and all that good stuff. So if you haven't seen the previous, Anime Talk episodes, I have made a playlist. You can check that out in the description below if you missed any Anime Talks from the past. These are always really fun to do, to just go right at it without a script, because god dang, I need to learn how to write a script when I actually do reviews. But you know, this is all just, you know, first impressions. Like I said before, tell me what you guys think about the anime, whether you like it or not, and you know, if you're still gonna watch it or you're still or not gonna watch it whatsoever. Love to hear your lovelies' opinions, because they're always fun. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. So thank you so much, my lovelies, for watching as always. Don't forget that you're beautiful, that you're wonderful, that you're you. I don't know, I don't really have like a theme song for like my outro things. I'm just like, stay safe, stay wonderful. You guys are doing amazing. I'm looking at every single one of you. You guys are doing awesome. You're doing fantastic. Oh my gosh, it's good to be back. So I will see you lovelies in the next video. Stay lovely, my lovelies. A peace.